All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Budget session of Parliament begins today with President's address. Economic survey to be tabled in the House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India offers predictable and friendly tax regime and FDI norms. CBSE date sheet for 10th and 12th exams to be announced on 2nd of February. DGCA extends travel restrictions on scheduled international commercial flights till 28th February. UN chief says India's vaccine production capacity is the best asset for today's world. And beating retreat, marking culmination of Republic Day celebrations to be held this evening at Vijay Chowk. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The budget session of Parliament will begin today. The session will begin with the address of President Ram Nath Kovind to the members of both the houses seated in 3 different locations for the first time. 144 members of Parliament will be seated in the Central Hall, including the Council of Ministers, leaders of different parties and groups in both the houses, former Prime Ministers and National Presidents of BJP and Congress. The remaining members of Parliament will be seated in the chambers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as per the COVID-induced physical distancing norms. The government has convened an all-party meeting tomorrow to seek support of political parties to ensure a smooth conduct of business in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Our correspondent reports that on Sunday, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for a meeting of leaders of all parties in the upper house.
In view of COVID-19 pandemic, the Rajya Sabha will function from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and the Lok Sabha will function from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. The first part of the session will conclude on 15th February, which will have 12 sittings. The second part of the budget session will begin on the 8th of March and will conclude on the 8th of April and will have 21 sittings. The economic survey will be tabled today. The Union Budget 21-22 will be presented on the 1st of next month. This will be the first budget in the history of India which will be presented in paperless form. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India offers a predictable and friendly tax regime and FDI norms. Addressing World Economic Forum's Davos dialogue through video conferencing, he said there have been continued emphasis on reforms and incentive-based stimulus. Prime Minister said structural reforms during Corona times have been supported by production-linked incentives. Mr. Modi said India is also matching its growth with the goals of climate change.
कोरोना के इस समय में भी भारत ने करीब-करीब हर सेक्टर में स्ट्रक्चरल रिफॉर्म्स की गति को तेज किया है। इन रिफॉर्म्स को प्रोडक्शन लिंक इंसेंटिव्स से सपोर्ट किया जा रहा है। अब भारत में टैक्स रीजन से लेकर एफडीआई नॉर्म्स तक एक प्रिडिक्टेबल और फ्रेंडली एनवायरनमेंट है। भारत में ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस की स्थिति लगातार बेहतर हो, इस दिशा में भी काम जारी है। भारत अपनी ग्रोथ को क्लाइमेट चेंज के लक्ष्यों के साथ भी बहुत तेजी से मैच कर रहा है।
The Prime Minister cautioned that technology should become a tool of ease of living, not a trap. He said India is focusing on sustainable urbanization with focus on ease of living, ease of doing business and climate-sensitive development. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that effective containment of corona in India has saved the humanity from a very big tragedy. Mr. Modi said despite the initial misgivings about the country's capacity to handle the pandemic, India moved forward with proactive and pro-participation approach and worked on strengthening the COVID-specific health infrastructure.
भारत प्रोएक्टिव पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन के अप्रोच के साथ आगे बढ़ता रहा। हमने कोविड स्पेसिफिक हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप करने पर जोर लगाया। हमने अपने ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज को कोरोना से लड़ने के लिए ट्रेन किया। टेस्टिंग और ट्रैकिंग, इसके लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का भरपूर इस्तेमाल किया। इस लड़ाई में भारत के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति ने धैर्य के साथ अपने कर्तव्यों का पालन किया। कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई को एक जन आंदोलन में बदल दिया। आज भारत दुनिया के उन देशों में से है जो अपने ज्यादा से ज्यादा नागरिकों का जीवन बचाने में सफल रहा है.
The Prime Minister said, fight against corona was turned into people's movement and India succeeded in saving lives of maximum number of its citizens. He said India's success has global implications as 18% of world's population lives in India. The Prime Minister also stressed on the world's biggest vaccination drive and India's global efforts during the pandemic.
कोरोना शुरू होने के समय मास्क, पीपीई किट, टेस्ट किट हम बाहर के मंगाते थे. आज हम न सिर्फ अपनी घरेलू जरूरतें पूरी कर रहे हैं बल्कि इन्हें अन्य देशों में भेजकर वहां के नागरिकों की सेवा भी कर रहे हैं. और आज भारत ही है जिसने दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा कोरोना वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम भी शुरू किया है. पहले फेज में हम अपने 30 मिलियन हेल्थ और फ्रंटलाइन वर्कर्स का वैक्सीनेशन कर रहे हैं. सिर्फ 12 दिन में 12 डेज में भारत ने अपने 2.3 मिलियन से ज्यादा हेल्थ वर्कर्स को वैक्सीनेट कर चुका है. अगले कुछ महीनों में हम अपने करीब 300 मिलियन बुजुर्ग और कोमोर्बिडिटी वाले मरीजों के वैक्सीनेशन का टारगेट पूरा कर लेंगे.
The Prime Minister also spoke on the fourth industrial revolution using technology for the good of humanity. He also informed the forum about the steps being taken on economic front. The Prime Minister said that India has maintained economic activity by starting infrastructure projects worth billions of rupees and initiating special schemes for employment. He said India's ambition for self-reliance will strengthen globalism anew and will help in Industry 4.0. The Prime Minister assured the forum that India's Atmanirbhar Bharat movement is committed to global good and global supply chain as India has capacity, capability and reliability to strengthen global supply chain. Its massive consumer base will further grow and help global economy.
आज हम जो आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान चला रहे हैं वो भी ग्लोबल गुड और ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन के प्रति पूरी तरह कमिटेड है. भारत के पास ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन को मजबूत करने के लिए कैपेसिटी भी है, कैपेबिलिटी भी है और सबसे बड़ी बात रिलायबिलिटी भी है. भारत के पास आज बहुत बड़ा कंज्यूमर बेस है और उसका जितना विस्तार होगा उतना ही ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी को लाभ होगा. प्रोफेसर क्लाउस श्वाब ने भी कहा था कि भारत संभावनाओं से भरा वैश्विक खिलाड़ी है.
The government has said that India is the fastest country to reach 1 million vaccination in the first 6 days. Briefing the media in New Delhi, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said, United States achieved this feat in 10 days, Spain in 12 days, Israel in 14, UK in 18 days, Italy in 19 and Germany in 20 days. He said a total of over 25,07,000 people have been administered the COVID-19 vaccines in the country so far. Mr. Bhushan said, on the other hand, India's daily COVID cases are continuously declining. He said only Kerala and Maharashtra still have more than 40,000 cases that contribute to 67% of the total cases.
अभी भी 2 राज्य ऐसे हैं जहां की देश के कुल एक्टिव केसेस का 67%, 67% of the total active cases of COVID in the country is in Kerala and Maharashtra. Then we have UP, Karnataka, West Bengal and the rest of the country.
India has gifted over 55 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccines to its neighbours and extended neighbourhood since the 20th of January this year. This includes 1.5 lakh doses to Bhutan, 1 lakh to Maldives, 10 lakh to Nepal, 20 lakh to Bangladesh, 15 lakh to Myanmar, 1 lakh to Mauritius, 50,000 to Seychelles, 5 lakh to Sri Lanka and 1 lakh to Bahrain. Briefing the media, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said these supplies are based on requests from these countries. Over the next few days, India plans to gift further quantities of 1 lakh doses to Oman, 5 lakh to CARICOM countries, 2 lakh to Nicaragua and 2 lakhs to Pacific Island states. Mr. Srivastava said there is interest in many countries in accessing the vaccines from India.
Further supplies on a commercial basis are likely to take place to Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Canada, Mongolia and other countries. Further, we are going to supply 1 crore doses to Africa and 10 lakh doses to UN health workers under Gavi's COVAX facility.
A total of over 23,55,000 people have been administered COVID-19 vaccines in the country so far. Nearly 3,25,000 people were vaccinated during the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate reached 96.94%, with a total recovery of more than 14,000 patients in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said that more than 1,373,000 patients have already recovered from this disease. The number of COVID-19 active cases is on a continuously declining trajectory in the country. A total of 199 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 6,34,000. Delhi government said that over 6,22,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 119 people have recovered and 6 deaths were reported in the city, taking the toll to 10,835. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 1,575.
In Bihar, 16,943 health workers were vaccinated for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. With this, 1,06,025 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. No side effects were reported from any part of the state. Meanwhile, 2,57,391 patients have so far recovered from the COVID-19 infection in Bihar. The number of active cases of COVID-19 is continuously declining. Currently, 1,475 patients are receiving treatment at various hospitals. In Gujarat, nearly 60,000 people were vaccinated in a single day yesterday. This is the highest number of vaccinations in Gujarat since the nationwide drive began. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
According to the State Health Department, 59,893 persons were vaccinated in Gujarat on Thursday. With this, the total 1,55,802 persons have received the COVID-19 vaccine in the state till now. Meanwhile, the state has recorded 346 new cases of COVID-19 during the last 24 hours. 602 patients discharged from the hospitals after recovery during the last 24 hours. Recovery rate has reached up to 96.89%. 78 new cases reported from Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 50 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 3,718, out of which 41 patients are on ventilator. 2 patients died yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 up to 4,384. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
More than 2 lakh health workers have been vaccinated in Maharashtra. State's Principal Secretary for Health Department said 2,19,696 health professionals have been vaccinated in the state so far. 40,187 health workers were vaccinated in the state yesterday. The state has a total of 538 vaccination centers in various districts. The state has achieved 73% progress in targeted vaccination. Odisha has emerged as the number 2 state in the country with more than 50% COVID-19 vaccine coverage. Briefing media in New Delhi, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan commended the state for having achieved the target despite having a large number of healthcare workers. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
As per the data released by the centre, the state has already vaccinated more than 1,94,000 of its healthcare workers since the nationwide rollout of the vaccination drive. As many as about 16,000 healthcare workers were administered vaccine shots in 237 sites across the state yesterday. The state has targeted to cover about 3.5 lakh healthcare and frontline workers during the first phase of the drive by the 10th of February. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
No single positive case of COVID-19 was reported in Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the past 3 days. The number of active cases has declined to 8, while the recovery rate is more than 98%. All the active cases belong to South Andaman district only. Out of the total 4,994 COVID-19 cases reported, 4,924 have recovered, while 62 people lost their lives. The test positivity rate is 2.28%. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 vaccination drive is also going on in the islands. A total of 2,773 beneficiaries have been vaccinated so far. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation, DGCA, has extended the ongoing travel restrictions for scheduled international commercial passenger services till the 28th of February. These restrictions will not apply to international all-cargo operations and flights specifically approved by DGCA. However, international scheduled flights may be allowed on selected routes by the competent authority on a case-to-case basis.
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called upon India to play a major role in the global corona vaccination campaign. Talking to reporters, UN chief termed the vaccine production capacity of India as the best asset the world has today. He said in India, there is a very high level of production of Indian-developed vaccines. UN chief said India has all the instruments that are necessary to play a major role in making sure that a global vaccination campaign is made possible.
In India, there is a very high level of production, both of Indian-developed vaccines, and I think there is a very important perspective of also others, and we are in contact with Indian institutions for that, and we strongly hope that India will have all the instruments that are necessary to play a major role in making sure that a global vaccination campaign becomes possible. I think that the production capacity of India is one of the best assets the world has today, and I hope the world understands that it must be fully used.
The UN chief's statement comes as India has gifted over 55 lakh doses of coronavirus vaccine to its neighbouring countries.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Budget session of Parliament begins today with President's address, economic survey to be tabled in the House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India offers predictable and friendly tax regime and FDI norms. CBSE date sheet for 10th and 12th exams to be announced on 2nd of February. DGCA extends travel restrictions on scheduled international commercial flights till 28th of February. UN chief says India's vaccine production capacity is the best asset for today's world. And beating the retreat, marking culmination of Republic Day celebrations to be held this evening at Vijay Chowk. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has said that the CBSE exam date sheet of 10th and 12th class will be announced on 2nd of February. Interacting with presidents and secretaries of CBSE Sahodaya school complexes through video conference, Mr. Pokhriyal said computerized affiliation system to be based on data analytics and self-disclosure of schools. The minister said the records of all CBSE students who enrolled in the span of last 45 years will be digitized. This will help citizens who enrolled after 1975 to get certificates easily. He said CBSE will train 10 lakh teachers in the coming year to meet the goals of National Education Policy 2020. Karnataka Primary and Secondary Education Minister Suresh Kumar has informed that from February 1st, regular full-day classes will commence for grades 9 and 11th along with 10th and 12th standard students. The decision was taken yesterday after a meeting with the Technical Advisory Committee in Bengaluru. It was also decided that Vidyagam classes for grades 6 to 8 will continue. Vidyagam is a program by the Education Department in which teachers conduct classes in community halls or other open areas to prevent spread of the pandemic. The minister informed that SSLC or 10th Standard Board exams will be held between June 14th to 25th across the state.
Home Minister Amit Shah visited hospitals to inquire about the health of the brave policemen of the Delhi Police who were injured in the violence during the tractor rally on Republic Day. He went to Sushruth Trauma Center and Tirath Ram Hospital in the capital and inquired about the health of the injured policemen. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said he met the policemen of the Delhi Police and wished them a speedy recovery. He said the entire nation is proud of the example of bravery and restraint in the face of violence that took place on Republic Day. The Home Minister also met the families of the injured policemen. Violence and sabotage was carried out and policemen were also attacked by the people involved in the rally at several places in Delhi, including at the historic Red Fort. Several Delhi police officers and personnel were injured in the incidents. The Uttar Pradesh government will establish first leather park of the country in Kanpur district. The park is expected to provide employment to 50,000 people directly and more than 150,000 people indirectly. Our Lucknow correspondent has filed this report.
Additional Chief Secretary MSME Navneet Sehgal said that the project will be established in 268 acres area of land in Ramaipur village of Kanpur district and is expected to attract an investment of more than 5,850 crores. He said that the leather park will also have effluent treatment plant of 20 million litre per day capacity so that it will not pollute the Ganga river. Navneet Sehgal said that with the establishment of leather park in Kanpur city, it will be able to strengthen its position among the 10 big leather manufacturing states of the country. More than 150 tanneries are expected to work here, which will produce world-class leather items, including shoes, jackets and other accessories of export quality. The leather park will have all the facilities for production as well as exhibition of leather products. It will also have fooding and lodging arrangements for the investors who will come here from all over the world. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Bihar, the last date for procurement of paddy has been extended from January 31st to February 21st. The decision was taken at a review meeting chaired by Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. He said farmers had requested to extend the last date for procurement. The state government has set a target to buy 45 lakh metric tons of paddy from farmers. Till date, 21 lakh metric tons of paddy has been procured. 3,137 crore rupees have been paid to farmers for procurement of paddy. Chief Minister has instructed the DMs to visit them and meet the farmers to assess the ground reality about procurement. In Chhattisgarh, paddy procurement on support price is now in its final stage. Paddy procurement in the state has broken all previous records this year. A report from our Raipur correspondent.
Paddy procurement on minimum support price is going on in Chhattisgarh these days. So far, about 90 lakh metric tons of paddy has been purchased at the minimum support price. More than 20 lakh farmers in the state have sold their paddy at the support price. An MSP of about 15,000 crore rupees have been paid online to farmers so far. The paddy procurement has broken all the records in the state this year. Last year, about 84 lakh metric tons of paddy was purchased in Chhattisgarh in comparison to last year. This year, about 6 lakh metric tons more paddy has been purchased in the state so far. Paddy procurement on support price has started in the state from December 1, which will continue till 31st of January. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan yesterday. The two leaders discussed the impact of the COVID pandemic in the region and expressed satisfaction that cooperation between India and UAE had not halted even during the health crisis. They agreed to continue close consultations and cooperation to further strengthen the India-UAE partnership in the post-COVID world. India has joined the world to light up the Qutb Minar as a sign of unity to combat the neglected tropical diseases, NTDs. The second annual World NTD Day will be marked on 30th of January. The day highlights the global community's commitment to end NTDs. The diseases cause immeasurable suffering among the world's most marginalized communities. More than 50 landmarks representing 25 nations across the world on Saturday will be lit up to celebrate how far we have come together in beating NTDs.
India and Bangladesh will be holding the next round of Foreign Office consultations in New Delhi today. The Indian side will be led by Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla and the Bangladesh side will be led by Ambassador Masood bin Momen, Foreign Secretary of Bangladesh. The Foreign Office consultations will review the entire gamut of bilateral relations, including cooperation in the wake of COVID-19, border management and security, trade and investment, connectivity, energy, water resources, development partnership, and regional and multilateral issues. Both sides will also discuss joint activities to be held throughout the year as the two countries celebrate 50 years of their diplomatic ties. Preparations for the upcoming visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Bangladesh will also be discussed. In the U.S., veteran Indian-American Congressman Amy Bera has been re-elected as the chairman of the House Foreign Subcommittee on Asia, Pacific, Central Asia and Non-Proliferation. In a statement, Bera said he is honored to be elected again to the chair the House Foreign Subcommittee. He said Asia continues to be the most consequential region for American foreign policy, as the economy and national security are intrinsically linked to the region. Bera said there are many pressing challenges that Congress must work to address, from an authoritarian China and a provocative North Korea. Bera is the longest-serving Indian American currently in Congress.
Beating the Retreat ceremony, which marks the culmination of the 4-day-long Republic Day celebrations, will be held at the historic Vijay Chowk in New Delhi today. The Defence Ministry said this year Indian tunes will be the flavour of the ceremony. As many as 26 performances will enthrall the spectators with captivating and foot-tapping music of the bands from the Army, Navy, Air Force and Central Armed Police Forces CAPF. The entry band will be Massed Band with Swarnim Vijay theme. It will be special new composition to commemorate 50 years of victory of India in the 1971 war against Pakistan. This will be followed by Pipes and Drums Band, CAPF bands, Air Force Band, Naval Band, Army Military Band and Massed Band. The event will come to a close with the ever-popular tune of Sare Jahan Se Achha.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -7 and 7 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear skies. The minimum temperature was around 6 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 21 degrees. Leh will have mainly clear skies. Gilgit will have mainly clear skies. The temperature will hover between -6 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 3 and 19 degrees Celsius. Dehradun observed a minimum temperature of around 5 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 20 degrees. Chandigarh will have mainly clear skies. The temperature is likely to hover between 5 and 21 degrees Celsius. The national capital is likely to have moderate fog. The city temperature will hover between 5 and 19 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Hailing India's progress in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic, Hindustan Times quotes the Prime Minister speaking at the World Economic Forum, asserting, "Many more made-in-India COVID vaccines soon to support other countries at scale." A front-page headline in the Times of India writes, "Crackdown on farm protests as the UP government orders the camping farmers to evict." The paper adds, "Power, water supply to stir site cut-off." External Affairs Minister outlines 8 principles to mend strained ties with China is a front-page headline in the Tribune. At 446 tons, gold demand in 2020 dips to lowest in 25 years, writes the Hindu Business Line. With the idea to give more money in people's hands, exemptions list in new tax regime may get longer, observes the Indian Express. And finally, regular international flights likely from summer, notes the Economic Times, as a substantial number of people will get vaccinated in 3 to 4 months across the globe.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Budget session of Parliament begins today with President's address. Economic survey to be tabled in the House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India offers predictable and friendly tax regime and FDI norms. CBSE date sheet for 10th and 12th exams to be announced on 2nd of February. DGCA extends travel restrictions on scheduled international commercial flights till 28th February. UN chief says India's vaccine production capacity is the best asset for today's world. And beating the retreat, marking culmination of Republic Day celebrations to be held this evening at Vijay Chowk. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.